What if I told you that 3 simple mistakes you might be making right now could be silently destroying your sexual performance and confidence, even if you think you're doing everything right? Hello, my wonderful community. I'm Dr. Katalyn Cari, and I'm so grateful you've chosen to spend your time with me today. Before we dive into this incredibly important topic that affects millions of men over 60, I want to ask you for a small favor. If this information helps you or someone you care about, please hit that like button, leave a comment sharing your thoughts, and most importantly, subscribe to our channel. We're building a supportive community where we can discuss these sensitive topics openly and help each other live healthier, more fulfilling lives. Today, we're talking about something that many men struggle with, but rarely discuss openly. As a medical professional, I've seen countless men suffer in silence, not knowing that their personal habits were actually contributing to their difficulties. What I'm about to share with you could be the difference between maintaining your vitality and confidence or watching it slowly slip away. Many older men believe that self-pleasure is simply a natural way to release tension. And you know what? They're absolutely right. In fact, it can bring significant benefits for prostate health, sleep quality, and emotional well-being. But here's what nobody has told you, and what I wish more doctors would address directly with their patients. There are 3 very common mistakes that men make during self-intimacy that, over time, can negatively affect your erectile function, your sensitivity, and even your self-esteem. As someone who has worked with hundreds of men experiencing these issues, I can tell you that many never realized their personal habits were the root cause of their struggles. Let me be clear about something important first. Self-pleasure for men over 60 isn't just a natural practice. It's actually a valuable tool for preserving your physical, emotional, and sexual health. As we age, it's completely normal to experience hormonal changes, reduced blood circulation, and alterations in sexual response. However, many of these effects can be mitigated or even prevented through an active and healthy intimate life, where self-care plays a key role. From a medical standpoint, this practice stimulates blood flow to the genital area, which is fundamental for maintaining the health of erectile tissue. An erection is a vascular and muscular process that, if not exercised with some regularity, can weaken over time. Studies have actually proven that men who maintain sexual activity, even through self-stimulation, have a lower risk of developing erectile dysfunction in their later years. Additionally, this practice helps regulate the production of sexual hormones like testosterone. While levels of this hormone naturally decrease with age, research has shown that frequent sexual activity can help maintain more stable levels, which positively impacts mood, general energy, and masculine vitality. One of the most significant benefits is prostate health. The prostate tends to enlarge with age, which can cause urinary discomfort and increase the risk of prostatitis or even prostate cancer. Various clinical studies suggest that regular ejaculation, including that achieved through self-pleasure, can significantly reduce these risks. This is because it helps empty the prostatic ducts, reducing the accumulation of secretions that, if they stagnate, can cause inflammation or infections. From a psychological perspective, this practice also serves a regulatory function. Many older men experience loneliness, anxiety, or sleep disorders. The release of endorphins and dopamine during self-pleasure not only generates physical satisfaction, but also helps reduce stress, improves mood, and facilitates deeper, more restorative sleep, even in situations where physical contact with a partner isn't possible due to widowhood, separation, or health issues. Self-pleasure offers a healthy and emotionally satisfying avenue for sexual expression. We shouldn't forget that maintaining contact with your own sexuality helps preserve a positive body image and a greater connection with yourself. In many older men, decreased desire or sexual function can generate feelings of insecurity or loss of masculine identity. Self-pleasure can act as a bridge between body and mind, helping men reconnect with their masculinity and sexual dignity without necessarily depending on a partner. It's fundamental to demystify the idea that sexuality ends with age. As medical professionals, we encourage our older patients to view self-pleasure not as a shameful or juvenile practice, but as a natural extension of personal care. Just as you care for your diet, exercise, or monitor your blood pressure, you should also care for your sexual health, because sexual well-being is an integral part of healthy aging. However, and this brings us to our first critical mistake, there's something that can turn this healthy practice into something potentially harmful. The first critical mistake: excessive frequency and inappropriate timing. Although self-pleasure can be healthy and recommended for men over 60, There's a common mistake that can have negative effects on sexual health. Excessive practice with inappropriate frequency. This behavior, while often going unnoticed or justified as a way to stay active, can cause physiological and psychological alterations that directly affect genital sensitivity, erectile potency, and even sexual desire. One of the main problems with excess is overstimulation of the nervous system and the hypothalamic pituitary gonadal axis, which regulates the production of sexual hormones like testosterone. When a man engages in self-pleasure too frequently, especially several times a day, an alteration in neurotransmitter levels like dopamine and serotonin can occur, leading to long-term desensitization of the brain's reward system. This means that the pleasure once felt with a single stimulation is no longer perceived the same way, forcing an increase in intensity, frequency, or type of stimulus to reach the same level of satisfaction. This creates a cycle of dependence that deteriorates the natural sexual response. Physically, excessive self-pleasure can also affect the sensitivity of the glands and erectile tissues. Many of my older patients report a decrease in pleasure intensity or difficulty maintaining an erection. Not knowing this could be related to overloading the nerve receptors. By subjecting the penis to repetitive stimulation, especially if done aggressively or without proper lubrication, there's a decrease in fine tactile response. This is especially concerning in older men, as the nervous system becomes less efficient with age and doesn't regenerate as quickly as in youth. Additionally, excessive self-pleasure can interfere with other dimensions of sexual health, such as emotional intimacy or connection with a partner. So what's the appropriate frequency for a man over 60? There's no exact number that applies universally, as it depends on individual factors like general health status, sexual desire, presence or absence of a partner, and psychological well-being. However, from a medical standpoint, a healthy frequency could range from 1 to 3 times per week, provided it's done consciously, without rushing, with attention to the body, and avoiding excessive use of pornography or practices that desensitize tissues. The second critical mistake: consuming extreme or unrealistic pornography in the context of male sexual health, especially after 60. One of the most harmful and underestimated mistakes is the habitual consumption of extreme or unrealistic pornography. While many men consider this type of content a useful source of stimulation, the truth is that excessive and uncontrolled use can profoundly affect both mind and body. From a neurological standpoint, frequent pornography consumption abnormally stimulates the brain's reward circuits, especially those related to dopamine, the main neurotransmitter of desire and motivation. Each time explicit sexual content is viewed, especially increasingly extreme content, the brain releases large amounts of dopamine. If this stimulation occurs repeatedly, a phenomenon known as desensitization occurs. Dopamine receptors begin to adapt, becoming less receptive to the stimulus. As a consequence, what once generated excitement now proves insufficient, and increasingly graphic or intense content is needed to reach the same level of pleasure. In clinical practice, we see many older men who, despite not having evident physical problems, experience difficulties maintaining an erection or reaching orgasm during real encounters. This occurs because their brain has become accustomed to artificial and excessively intense stimulation that isn't replicated in intimacy with a partner or during conscious self-exploration. This phenomenon is known as pornography-induced erectile dysfunction and is more common than people think, even in older men. Beyond neurological damage, extreme pornography can distort sexual expectations. Many men end up believing that the performance shown in those videos represents the norm, when in reality, these are highly edited, acted representations designed to exaggerate reality. This constant comparison can generate feelings of inadequacy, performance anxiety, and even rejection toward one's own body or that of a partner. At more advanced ages, when the body undergoes natural changes, this type of pressure can be especially destructive to sexual self-esteem. Fortunately, there are healthy alternatives to reconnect with sexuality more consciously. One is practicing self-pleasure without visual stimuli, focusing attention on bodily sensations, breathing, and the body's natural rhythm. It can also be helpful to incorporate body awareness exercises like mindfulness or meditation focused on physical sensations, which help restore sensitivity and balance to the nervous system. The third critical mistake: using inadequate techniques that weaken pelvic muscles. One of the most silent but harmful mistakes many men make, especially after 60, is using inadequate techniques during self-pleasure or sexual activity that unknowingly weaken the muscles responsible for erection. This problem, though rarely discussed, has real consequences on male sexual health, directly affecting the strength, duration, and control of erections. The pubicochaetus muscle, part of the pelvic floor complex, is key to erectile function. This muscle acts as a support that helps maintain blood within the penis's corpora cavernosa during erection, ensuring its firmness. When this muscle is weakened, whether from lack of use or inadequate techniques, the ability to maintain a firm erection is compromised. It's important to understand that, like other body muscles, the PC muscle needs adequate stimulation and should avoid overloading or harmful patterns. One of the most common practices that can negatively affect this muscle is applying too much pressure during self-pleasure. Many men use an excessively firm grip, thinking it generates more pleasure or is necessary to reach climax. However, this excess pressure can damage nerve endings, reduce long-term sensitivity, and overload pelvic floor muscles, causing chronic tension or muscular fatigue. Additionally, using rapid, repetitive movements without rest can cause microtraumas in tissues surrounding the penis, affecting the quality of erectile response. Inadequate positions also play an important role. For example, self-pleasuring in uncomfortable or forced positions, like sitting hunched over with crossed legs or while straining abdominal muscles, can generate pelvic pressure and alter pelvic muscle alignment. Over time, this causes loss of muscular control, difficulties maintaining erection, and even discomfort when urinating or ejaculating. Many men aren't aware that with age, pelvic musculature tends to weaken if not exercised adequately. Sedentary lifestyle, obesity, chronic constipation, and even poor daily posture contribute to this progressive deterioration. To reverse this situation and improve firmness and erectile control, it's fundamental to incorporate specific exercises to strengthen the pubicochaetus muscle. Key exercises, when performed correctly, are the most effective tool. They consist of contracting and relaxing pelvic floor muscles in a controlled manner. To locate them, I recommend interrupting urine flow midstream. That's the muscle you should exercise, although the exercise should never be performed while urinating. Doing 3 to 5 daily sets of 10 to 15 repetitions can make a significant difference in just a few weeks. Additionally, I recommend varying self-stimulation techniques, using lubricants to avoid unnecessary friction, and focusing more on stimulus quality than ejaculation speed. Incorporating conscious breathing and pauses during self-pleasure can also help improve control and body perception. My dear community, I want you to understand that many sexual difficulties in later life don't stem from diseases, but from habits repeated for years without proper guidance. Learning to care for and exercise the pubicochaetus muscle, avoiding aggressive techniques, and adopting adequate body posture are essential steps to maintain firm, secure, and lasting sexual health at any age. Having a strong erection doesn't depend only on desire, but also on conscious care of the body that sustains it. Remember, your sexual health is just as important as any other aspect of your well-being, and it's never too late to make positive changes. I hope this information has been valuable to you and your loved ones. Remember, we're here to support each other through these important. Your sexuality doesn't have an expiration date, and every step you take today can make a difference in your quality of life tomorrow. Thank you so much for being part of our community and for watching today's video. If this information helped you understand these important aspects of men's health better, please show your support by hitting that like button. Your likes help us reach more people who need this information. Don't forget to leave a comment below sharing your. I read every single comment and love connecting with each of you. Most importantly, if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel and ring that notification bell. We're building something special here, a community where we can discuss these important health topics openly, without judgment, and with the care and respect everyone deserves. Together, we can break the silence around these issues and help more people live healthier, more confident lives. I'll see you in our next video, where we'll continue exploring important health topics that matter to you. Until then, take care of yourselves, and remember, your health and happiness are worth investing in at every stage of life.